Welcome back to Tucson, Arizona for the WPH. My name is Dave Vincent alongside David Fink. This is a special video preview of New York and the NYAC Race for 8 stop coming up March 13th, 14th, and 15th, Dave.
Yeah, Dave, this is our second consecutive year at the New York Athletic Club, one of the most prestigious and famed athletic clubs in the country, home to some of the greatest four-wall handball players and outdoor handball players in the history of our sport, dating back to the 1950s. Vic Hershkowitz, Jimmy Jacobs, John Bike, now Paul Brady. Dave, this is the regular season finale of the Race for 8, Senior Race for 8, and Women's Race for 8 tours as we head into Salt Lake City and the Players' Championships. Dave, it's been a year dominated by Paul Brady and Catriona Casey, both players undefeated throughout this season. Paul Brady, in fact, going for the first perfect season in Race for 8 history. This is our 4th season. Luis Moreno won 5 of the first 8 events in the first season. He was dominant. Paul Brady has won 4 of 4 this season. He's going for 5 of 5 at his home club at the New York Athletic Club, and he'll look for the clean sweep in Salt Lake City, an event he didn't win last year. Kind of like, Dave, the Miami Dolphins in 1972, or Rod Laver and winning the Grand Slam in 1962 or 1969. Just incredible. Catriona Casey, though, Dave, she's already has a perfect season under her belt. It was last season on the Women's Race for 8 Tour 1. She captured all 3 events. Throughout this season, she's captured the first 2 events. She's going also for the perfect season with a win in New York City and then again in Salt Lake City.
What's going to stop her?
Well, from what we saw in San Francisco, nothing. I mean, she dominated her opponents, beating them 90-7 in combined points through 3 rounds, including a 30-0 thrashing in the finals.
Okay, not only are we talking about the women's and the elite men, but there's also a 40-plus event going on as well. Andy Shad is going to be there. Chris Watkins is going to be there. In fact, one player said to me recently that they felt that the senior events are a lot like playing the national championship finals every single tournament that they play. And so that's going to be really exciting too. And that bracket's still making its way and filling itself up. And we heard Danny Bell from Canada could be entering this tournament as well. So that looks like it's going to be fun.
Well, speaking of Canada, Dave, Kevin Kopchak also playing his first ever Senior Race for 8 event, and we're going to talk about him and the rest of those stars. But we've got Sean Lenning in the executive lounge right now, Dave.
He is here, yeah.
He's going to be coming in here right after our first break and talking about the qualifiers, and then we'll get more in depth about the Race for 8, Women's Race for 8, and Senior Race for 8.
I didn't even know Sean was here, but I cannot wait to hear what he has to say about these players. Dave, you can watch it, you can be part of it, you can listen to it, you could admire it. ESPN is also part of the New York Athletic Club WPH Race for 8 event alongside Edel Handball. ESPN and the Watch ESPN app will be live on the 14th and 15th of March, right inside of this historic, this famed New York Athletic Club, right across from Central Park. And it's going to be one heck of a showing as they bring their little tools along, sideline reporters and all the stuff that ESPN has with them. That'll be on the 14th and 15th. But on our website, on race48.com, on Friday, we'll try to pick up some bonus coverage for you. Women's events, seniors, some qualifier finals, whatever we can find. First round matches on that round of 16. We've seen a lot of upsets. So ESPN will be capturing some of that stuff on Saturday and Sunday, and we'll be with our film crew, our regular film crew, on Friday. And that's going to be a lot of fun as well.
Over 20 hours of coverage throughout the 3-day weekend, Dave. I mean, you can't beat that. If you're a handball fan, best handball players in the world, put your feet up, grab your popcorn, and just enjoy.
Okay, so I am going to be a part of that with you, and I can't wait for that to happen. We have Sean Lenning in the green room, as they say, in the executive lounge. We're going to be chatting with him next. Stick around for the video preview of New York.
You know, simply put, I want to be the best. I totally want to be the best. You know, it's nice making money on the side, but I love playing handball. It's the ultimate sport, and that's kind of a cliche. People say that a lot, but it really does require everything. And you know, I love being good at it, and I love beating people. I'm very competitive, and so I'm just motivated to win. I want to beat everybody. Yeah, it's a great thing. You know, I have the best wife in the world. I met her in Monterrey, Mexico, and we fell in love, and I brought her back here, and she's just so motivational for me in every aspect of my life. You know, she wants me to go back to school, and she's supportive of what I want to do. And you know, as long as it's legitimate, she loves handball, and she's my biggest fan in handball, and she wants me to do so well. You know, I can't tell you how big it is for her. You know, motivational for me. it motivates me a lot having her there and watching me and cheering for me. It's great.
Welcome back to the studio. We have with us this time Sean Lenning, who is going to step in and talk to us a little bit about the qualifiers, the women's events, the elite guys. Also, Sean, the 40-plus dudes that I know that you've admired.
I love them.
We're going to chat about that here as we get back onto the track of New York Athletic Club in this big race stop. Dave Vincent, Dave Fink, Sean Lenning. Sean, Abraham Montijo, qualifier. He's the #1 seed again. He's a guy that you play regularly here in Tucson,
I'm playing him today.
Tell me a little bit about his game.
I think he needs to step up his aggression, especially off the back wall, and sometimes he gets in that bing bang, you know, body punch style, which I don't know if that works against a lot of players. So I think he needs to create a little more offense, you know, because he gives away some opportunities that their player won't.
Stephen Cooney, who's come onto the tour, and he's just been kind of a buzzsaw. I mean, claiming 9th place twice, 6th place once. He's a guy that is defensive-minded, and maybe along those same lines as Abraham Montijo, what you're saying, great game, maybe needs to incorporate some more offense. What is it that you see in his game that you like?
I watched him play in Colorado, and I was impressed. He fought through a first game loss versus Anthony, I believe. So he's got heart, he's tenacious. I hate his serve, so I can probably work on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like the guy.
It's really a grind. You're trying every 3 weeks to try and peak, and it's not always there.
Yeah.
You know, you have to figure out a way. How can I be as motivated as I was 3 weeks ago when I finished 6th, and come back 3 weeks later, get on another plane, travel across the country, and play just as well? A guy who seems to be doing that quite well is Daniel Cordova.
Yeah, his serve and shoot game is where it's at, and his back wall's pretty solid. So,
you know, Sean, I talked to Danny about, you know, this resurgence, this last 45 days, and how well he's played when he made 5th in Houston and then 7th in San Francisco, beat some pretty big name guys, and then got through Martin Mulkerns to finally get that monkey off his back from the Collegiate National. They said, well, you know, what was it? He said that he felt that it was that he went back, and instead of playing 4 times a month, he was playing 4 times a week, and also hit the weight room.
Yeah.
He feels like that got him into shape. But I actually, you know, I'm not him, but I look back to the fact that you and him teamed up and won a national championship in 3-wall, and I think that's one of those things where you say, okay, now my expectation, or my level, my bar that I've set for myself is much higher now. I'm being said in the same name as guys like Sean Lenning, and you know, and Sean, you've won so many national championships in 3-ball. That's a big thing. And
yeah,
I think that he lifted his game after that. I think that's where it came from.
Yeah, we won it 2 years ago, and I think maybe more of a catalyst for his improvement was how bad he played last year in Toledo, and I was like, dude, you got to play more if we're going to be partners, because he was terrible. He'll admit it, and so I bet he went back to the drawing boards after that. I think that might have been more motivating than the win, maybe.
Luis has been on the tour since the very beginning. In fact, he's the youngest guy to ever qualify for the Players' Championship at just 20. Now, his younger brother has moved ahead of him in the rankings.
Really?
I mean, what do you think about Luis's game, Luis's comeback? You know that he missed the entire Race for 8-2 season. Now he's come back this year. He's had some nice wins, including a Match of the Year candidate for 9th place against Vic Perez in San Francisco. He came back from 24-22 to win 26-24.
Yeah. Well, first of all, he's one of my favorite to watch because he has just battles, and he just is tenacious, and he doesn't put it away terribly often, but that kind of style is pretty fun to watch, so he's kind of a crowd favorite, possibly, at least for me.
Yeah. He's a guy that I think still has a lot of untapped potential. He's just 24 years old.
He needs to work on his chicken wing. You know, he's got a bit of that's a bad left hand for.
But it seems to get a little bit better.
I think it's good. I mean,
you love it. That's because it's as good as your right.
Vic Perez is another guy who's going to be a #1 seed in this stack qualifier, Sean. This is one of our best qualifiers that we've ever had. I mean, this filled up literally like that, all with really good players.
Yeah.
Vic Perez is a guy who started his season winning the U.S. Open doubles with Marco Chavez. So he basically could have just.
That was cool.
Yeah, he could have just retired right there. That's a huge money tournament.
That's a good one.
You know, he's quietly putting together a nice season just like he always does.
Yeah, well, he always plays well from behind. I think him and I have that similarity. From the lead, not so much. He's given away some some games in the bag as well. So I don't know what that's about, but whenever I play him these days, like, I try and really keep the pressure on, because he'll score 7 in a row. He has that crack serve that he goes for, and he's come back and beat me, forced tiebreakers and things like that.
Houston.
Yeah, I mean, you were dominating the match up 12-4 in the second game.
Yeah, and I started coasting, but then I was like, oh, I've been here before. Like, I feel like he came back on me in the past too. And so he's one of those guys that has great offense. You know, he doesn't do much on the defensive, realm, but yeah, so you got to look out for him for sure.
Well, we remember what it was like when Vic played in Salt Lake City and he had that breakthrough year where he defeated Charlie Shanks, and then he was about ready to defeat Alan Garner, and it looked like this was the tournament for him. He's one of those guys you underestimate. You don't.
I think he might underestimate himself. You know, I think that has something to do with not being able to put a game away. Like, you might think, oh, I shouldn't beat him, I'm not ready to beat him, kind of subconsciously. So I think that points to that.
Speaking of the Elite Eight, Sean, Anthony Celesto had an amazing, stunning, upset-riddled season last year where he took out Dave Chapman, took out you, he took out me. I mean, it was just kind of like every tournament, you couldn't believe it, but then you come into this season thinking, well, this is the guy that is going to take down the big names, and it just hasn't happened so far this season. He's only 2-8 thus far in the season. Hasn't won a round of 16.
We know what to look for.
Okay.
You know, we can't be taking him lightly. I don't know. He's not going to beat me again if he's watching.
Yeah, no, he is.
He's watching.
No, he's not.
He is.
Well, he's not going to beat me though.
Okay.
He's watching, but he's not going to.
Okay.
No.
Well, let's talk about him though. I mean, what is it? I mean, you've got a thing where you've lost against him a couple times in a row, but I redeemed
myself in Colorado.
You did. You got him back in Colorado, non-racing.
Nobody knows about that, though. They only know about the 2 losses. But I did
we didn't even know about the Colorado event, but nonetheless.
It happened. It's real.
Why is he tough to play?
Well, if I gave a really honest answer, it's because he's so supportive of his opponent. When he's playing, he's like, "Hey, good
I know what you mean. It's overly patronizing, right?"
So it's he means well. He's the man.
Does he though?
Like, it's hard to get really intense, bear down against someone who's so nice.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's good. I think that's part of his game.
Yeah.
I think not purposefully.
See, I disagree with you. I think it is purposefully. I think that's part of the gamesmanship
as well.
Well, he's pretty nice off the court. He's the same way.
He's a nice guy off the court. I love him off the court.
Yeah.
This is the race for 8-4, and it's also weekend at Bernie's for Adam Bernhard. What? Adam Bernhard.
Like that's wrong.
Yeah, Adam Bernhard making his 4th start of the season. He's kind of a Tyler Hamill clone. They're kind of from the same area. They play against one another. They got that slow, methodical.
How long were you thinking of that?
Well, it's been about 5 weeks.
Delivering that for weeks.
Let's just hope that Weekends at Bernie 4 is better than number 1, which is,
that's
number
tough.
1's one of the best movies that's been made. Number 2,
all-time modern day classic.
That's my point. Number 4 isn't usually as good as number 1. But your thoughts on him? You've watched him. I don't think you've played against him.
Yeah, I don't think I have, at least not in recent memory. But he's steady, and he's got some game for sure. He's consistent. That's what I think about his game, like off the top of my head.
Yeah.
He's sort of like a style that once that style goes away.
It's Tyler Hamill.
Yeah,
is what it is.
It's kind of a Vern Roberts. It's kind of a Dave Chapman-ish sort of thing going on. But when you see it and you play against it, you miss it. John Iglesias will be here though, and he's another guy that's dangerous, and he could do some damage in not only just a qualifier final, winning that qualifier, going in. I do believe there's a couple guys that he beats. Possibly there in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, he took down Emmett a game, did he not? Am I confused?
He beat Moreno last year in New York.
Emmett a game in Houston?
He did win the second game in Houston against Emmett,
Yeah, and I reffed the tiebreaker.
Right.
Yeah, that's saying something. Emmett doesn't give games away, I don't think.
He did win his round of 16 match last year at the New York Athletic Club.
That's nothing to you?
No, I mean, I'm talking about matches he actually won. I mean, he just won a game against Emmett. I'm impressed.
A game's a game. That's good.
Well,
nobody wants to go tiebreaker, especially Emmett.
Take out you last year at the New York Athletic Club in the first round. Okay. John Iglesias had a golden opportunity in San Francisco. He came in as an Elite Eight invited player for the first time in his career. He draws Danny Cordova in the first round. Now, if he would have won that match, he would have remained in the Elite Eight. Instead, he loses that match, Dave, I believe 15-12 in the tiebreaker, and now he's all of a sudden tumbling back down in about that 12-15 range. So you can just see a couple points here and there is a huge difference.
Yeah, no, he actually, and take it a step further, almost just missed getting into the tournament. I mean, it capped out at 32, and he had to, work his way into the tournament after he was actually technically not in. But
that might be harder work than anything he does in the
tournament. Did he wine and dine you?
No, he
whined.
He flew out here.
No, he whined. Yeah.
There was a player that was injured, and
he's in, though.
No, he's in.
So that's good.
He's in.
Because he's a good player, right?
Yeah.
He's fun to watch. Unorthodox.
Yeah.
He's good in New York, and that's his home club.
Right.
Let's talk about the women's play. I mean, it's very hard to talk about women's handball without bringing up Catriona Casey, so let's just skip her.
She's pretty good.
She's not bad. But she was just pushed in Portland at the collegiates.
Yeah.
And you saw Sienna Nee Kareen, who was her finals partner. You said she's a great person off the court as well, and watching her play courtside, what was that like?
Yeah, well, I actually missed the final, but I saw her play the semis. And yeah, she's a beast. She's really good.
Well, she's going to be in New York.
And I was tickled to see her because I hadn't seen her since like junior nationals when she was 15 or something. And my dad and I were like,
so she's definitely going to be up there.
She's
when
good.
You watched her in the semifinals. What was it? Left hand, right hand?
Yeah, both hands. Her left could use a little work, like if I had to be really picky, but it's better than most. And so other than that, she's strong, and I bet it seems like she's playing. So yeah, she'll be good. I'd like to see her play Catriona.
I think she's got the firepower that can compete with a great player like Catriona Casey.
Yeah, she just needs to kind of hone it. I mean, she's got the stroke, has the power, bit of a chicken wing. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows what that is now. But, like, it's not terrible, so she doesn't create a lot of offense with it, which I think you kind of need playing a Catriona or a Sienna.
If you were going to step in with her, would you say, let's just go in, I want to show you some stuff with your right hand that can help you with defense or offense? What advice would you give her?
Well, she lets a lot of things come back. I would start implementing her 3-ball kind of mentality into her 4-wall game, because she seems to follow some balls to the back wall that she shouldn't, like a lot of players that I can think of. And so I wasn't pointing.
Well,
you looked at
it kind of was.
No.
Kind of was.
No.
I wasn't pointing.
So if she just really she needs to, like, initiate offensive opportunities. I think that's how she's going to beat really good players. She can't rally or play the Bernie style versus Catriona, because Catriona won't miss.
Right.
So I really hope she comes with kind of an offensive mentality, more
striking,
which she already has, but she can take it to another level, with that power she's got.
We've also got Aoife McCarthy, who just won a senior title in Ireland in her provincial.
Cool.
And she is a great shot maker. We had her living here in Tucson for the summer, and I think the only thing holding her back is maybe her own self-belief. I mean, she, to me, has all the shots she needs. She's got an amazing serve, great control of the ball. She's able to hit fist shots with both hands really anywhere she wants. I mean, we've seen her lose so many close matches. Every time we see her, she's losing 11-7 in a tiebreaker, 11-9. If she can just get over the hump one time, I think we see her become one of those top players. Yeah,
I saw her play at Los Caballeros, and she's good. Yeah, she's very good, and she's, I wish she'd turn her feet more often, but that's the only thing. Well, again, I'm just being picky, but yeah, she's got game for sure.
She lost weight, she got in shape, she rededicated her life, and she's really physically fit right now. And I think she could actually be very dangerous in this bracket, Dave.
Yeah, well, she has a great rivalry with Danielle Daskalakis. Every time they play, even going back to the collegiates, it's 11-9, and Danielle's been able to win most of those matches. But, I don't know if anyone loves handball more than Aoife McCarthy, Dave. When she's at a tournament, she's running the tournament desk, she's reffing, she's collecting membership. I mean, she's doing everything you could possibly ask for anyone to do. And then she's also playing in the tournament. She's just volunteering all this stuff just because she loves the game.
She's a Renaissance woman.
She loves handball.
Does it all.
You said it best. So we're going to have her there in New York. Also, Maria Dugas, Jessica Gawley. It was just terribly unfortunate what happened to her in San Francisco, but I think this is kind of a wake-up call as well for her, even though she's heading into her early 40s now. A mother of two.
It's not that. Let me interject. Getting 0-0, that's not a huge deal. That just means that it's very hard to, when you're Catriona's, a certain level better than her, and so it's very hard to score or win 2 rallies in a row and score a point. That's not really
Right.
A great reflection.
She only served 4 times in that match.
Yeah, and so, I mean, yeah, it could change around.
Alongside Sean Lenning, Dave Fink, Dave Vincent, we're going to say goodbye as we get ready for this New York Athletic Club Race for 8 event, March 13th, 14th, and 15th. And we hope that you tune in to ESPN and Race48.com, brought to you by Edel Handball and the New York Athletic Club. We're going to have one heck of a shootout. I can't even predict a winner. It's going to be fun.
I could.
Let's say goodbye. Goodbye, Sean.
See ya.
Yep.
See ya.